Alright guys, so in this video I decided to do something different. I have been feeling a bit under the weather emotionally and just been binge watching a bunch of art tutorials on YouTube and came across these junk journal, inspiration journal type videos. There's all kinds of names for them, and I'm not even really sure what it is that I was creating here. I guess it's not detailed enough to call a junk journal, but it's a book signature for sure. Once I decide what I want to do with it, then I will put it in a proper book binding. And I really wanted to try out the new tools and old books and papers that I had been collecting. I get a lot of my stuff off of Marketplace. I can find some really fantastic deals there with people just trying to bring down their stash of art supplies and whatnot. So I was really excited to get started on this. So I first start off with just tearing out some books from pages from an old hymnal and an old encyclopedia as well, and then just grabbing some scrapbook paper and as well as some old paper with just random leftover bits and scraps of paint. None of these were art pieces. They were just paper that I was either spreading my leftover paint on my palette when I was done or just smushing it onto my paint palette, thinking that, you know what, I might end up using these for a mixed media collage down the road. So I am a hoarder of paper, yes, I do admit. Same thing with these little cards. They're little 4x6 cards that I use to just pick up the remaining paint off my jelly plates. Haven't done any videos on jelly plates yet, but that will be coming in the near future. So I just start off by folding out my pages. I wasn't even sure what size journal I wanted to make yet. I just thought I'm going to get some of the prep work done here by folding them in half and figure that out afterwards. Now, when I was doing this, it was in the evening and we got a massive thunderstorm. And I'm not usually afraid of thunder. I usually really enjoy watching thunderstorms. I always loved it as a kid growing up. I never really freaked me out. But in the studio with a metal roof is a whole other story. I started recording this and all of a sudden this huge crash came and I literally jumped out of my chair, turned everything off, and ran in the house. It was so scary. So I came out back into the studio first thing in the morning with my cup of coffee. I was so excited to continue on this project, and I created 2 of the book signatures. However, my coffee had not yet kicked in because I forgot to turn the camera on. Can you believe it? Yeah, I was quite disappointed to say the least. But hey, I gave you the opportunity to create an extra one, right? And I am now forever going to be paranoid that my camera is not on every time I sit down to film. So here's the sneak peek at the 2 that I did create. On the cover I used the scrapbook paper, and instead of cutting it, I folded it upwards to create a pocket on the front page and the back page. And as you can see, I'm using all kinds of different paper. I have some lined paper and scrapbook paper, sketching paper, pages from an old book and hymnal as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to just fill this with random stickers and stamps and stuff, or if I'll actually gesso the pages and paint in them. I really don't know what I want to do with them yet, but they were really a whole bunch of fun to make, and I can see myself doing more of these in the future. If you've watched any junk journal tutorials before, they are extremely beautiful, but I feel like you can't really use them. And I guess for me that defeats the purpose, but I guess technically it's art. It's art in itself. So I don't know. I guess I'm more of a practical person, and if I'm going to create a journal, I want something that I can write in or paint or sketch or something. So trying to find a happy medium here, and might as well create a bunch of them because I have a whole bunch of paper and books to do these with. So this is the second one. I didn't glue down the pages, and actually the one here with the black and white, after I had sewn in the pages together, I realized that that one was actually upside down because it was supposed to be another page with a pocket, but because I had already sewn it together, I decided to punch holes across the top of it and make it look like I put it there on purpose. It actually looks kind of decorative and neat, so I guess my mistake worked out in my favor. So here I am just grabbing some more paper to start on the mini one so that I can show you guys the step-by-step process on how to create one of these. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of paper. You can literally use whatever you have on hand. Some people even use flyers and junk mail. You can use envelopes. You can use even paper from an old calendar or journal or notebook. So in all the books that I made so far, I use between 10 and 12 pieces of paper. Most of the scrapbooking paper is thicker, so you want to try and have a balance between thicker paper and the thinner paper, or it'll just be too hard to punch your holes through and to keep it shut, especially if you plan on painting in them or adding a lot of three-dimensional pieces to your journal. So I guess that's why they create the different signatures. So some junk journals will have 3 or 4 signatures. So a signature is just a grouping of papers that are sewn together, and then you put them into your book binding. All kinds of new things that I've learned, and it's been a lot of fun. Sometimes you just need to switch things up, and I find it very therapeutic to do something new versus painting a portrait or a pet portrait or things that I'm used to, because again, that overthinker sometimes kicks in and that creative time becomes a bit more stressful than relaxing. So learning new things can really help to lift your spirit and lift your mood, and just a lot of fun in the process. Especially if you have a lot of things on hand, or if you can really get creative with the supplies that you have on hand without having to go out and buy extra things. I'm very frugal, so I like to either shop at the secondhand stores or find things on marketplaces and garage sales. I try not to buy too much new stuff other than my expensive paints. Especially when you're trying something new. You don't want to go out and invest a whole lot of money on something that you're not even sure you'll stick with. At least that's been my experience. I've been having a lot of fun with the inspiration journal that I've been making from that old book, but I think moving forward I definitely want to make some of my own journals using mixed media paper, which is a heavier paper, but it will receive the paint a lot better than using computer paper or sketch paper. So yeah, I think I'm going to try making some with mixed media paper to use for inspiration journals, just for painting in. But we'll see. I have way too many ideas on my mind, way too many projects that I want to work on, and some commission pieces that I need to get cracking on too. So I had all my papers put together in the order that I wanted them, and I secured them with binder clips just so that they won't move around too much. You don't want your holes to get unaligned. It looks like I'm having a really hard time, but I'm just being super cautious because I don't want to stab myself with the poker. I should probably have a piece of foam or something on the table so that way I can just punch straight down, but this is how I did it for now. So the thread that I'm using is thread that I got with the other tools as well, and I think it's like more like a hemp. They recommend using anything that has a thin layer of wax on it because sometimes it can start to fray and get a hard time going in and out of the holes that you created. So you always start in the middle. One journal I started from the inside, and the other one I started from the outside, which obviously will affect where you finish and tie it off. So you go in through the middle, and then up on the top, down again through the middle, and then up from the bottom, down again through the middle, and tie it together. That is pretty much it. It doesn't get much simpler than that. And look how cute that is. I'm probably going to give this one to my daughter because it's tiny and it's cute. But yeah, I can see myself making many more of these in the future. And I need to try really hard not to hoard more materials for this. So that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to show you guys quickly how easy it is to create one of these signature journals, and I hope that you guys will try making your own as well.